gets I forgot how many F-bombs he gets.
I get 2 per show, okay?
2 per show, all right.
Try not to burn them early.
Yeah, you burned them real early on the last golf show.
I only used 1 last week. You should be proud of me.
Right.
I'm getting better. I was raised by a Navy guy from Louisiana, okay? Give me a break.
All right, so what's up, HVAC crew, trade crew? Welcome back to another episode of HVAC R&D. We are not alone tonight. We got a guest. We're going to get into that. We got some good content coming your way. And after the guest, like I said, depending on how long he wants to stay on, how long we can ramble, we got all kind of stuff to get into. So, without further ado, let's get it going.
Yeah, come on.
Everybody got their drinks ready?
Yes, sir. So what's up, trade crew? Like Dennis said, welcome back to another episode of HVAC R&D. We are not alone. Hopefully I'm not drinking alone again this time.
No, I got you tonight, bud.
Okay, there we go. But as usual, the beginning shameless self-promo. Make sure to follow us on our new Instagram, hvac.rnd. You know, change it up a little bit because can't keep the original one anymore. Don't know where it is. Somewhere in the metaverse. If you guys find it, let us know. We'd love to have some of that back at some point. You never know. There was some cool stuff on there. Good thing is now we can repost it again and you'll never know.
Right.
But, you know. Also go and follow us on TikTok at HVACR&D as well as on LinkedIn and Facebook. The LinkedIn is taking off this week. I think we picked up close to 50-something new followers in the last couple of days, so thanks everybody. And then also go and follow us on Trade Hounds. We do put some exclusive content over there. Nice big trade community for all the different trades we follow. Continuing to grow the trade crew over there. There was at one point a competition between Trade Hounds and Instagram, but Trade Hounds is kicking some arse these days. I think we're closing in on 1,400 of the old trade crew over there, so thanks everybody. We appreciate everybody.
I was gonna say I've picked up some trades on Trade Hounds. I can't stop watching these guys run these excavators and stuff.
Oh dude, I can't stop watching the Dirt Gang guys that are in North Carolina with us. We need to figure out how to meet them at some point.
Just a different trade, right? I get stuck on what I'm in, and so yeah, that's a good app.
I mean, who doesn't want to go fantasize about driving a big excavator at some point? We all had Tonka trucks as kids. Also, big thank you to our partners, One Thing Marketing, BetterHelp, Rector Seal, and Service Titan. And for any other information about our sponsors as well as our social handles and some other stuff, you can find all that on our link tree in the bios of our social media. We will get into some more AHR stuff later in the show. We've got some more stuff to announce. But I feel like I've made this poor guy wait long enough. So thanks again to the primary sponsor of today's show, Chiirp. If you don't know who they are, you will very soon. So not only are we grateful for their belief in us as a partner, but also for loaning us their CEO, pro texter, and commentator in Chiirp, or commander in Chiirp. See what I did there? Mr. Ryan Fenn, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
So where are you at? I know you said it before the
we're
show,
in
but
the frozen tundras of Utah.
There it is.
nice. My son is he's wanting to move to Utah when he gets out of college.
Really?
He got accepted to App State, so he's going to get a pretty good taste of that weather. I think they're going to be in single digits, or they might already be in single digits. That's North Carolina mountains. So, yeah, he went to Utah for a band trip and came back and was like, "Yep, that's where I'm going." I said,
Really?
"All right."
Cool.
Yeah. So
Send him my way. I'll take care of him and take him out to dinner.
there you go.
There it is.
You don't want to do that. He's 17, man. He's like a freaking goat right now.
I'll send him a pizza.
There you go. So we can't really get this show started. I feel like if you haven't listened to the show, we get it going with a little drink. Just hanging out. What time are you on right now?
It's 7:20.
All right, so it's past 5. We're good there.
Past 5.
Past 11, 10. I feel like the older I get, the earlier it gets. So yeah, what are you drinking on, Ryan?
So normally on a Wednesday night I wouldn't go this hard, but it's almost the holidays, and tomorrow, we're not even going to be in the office. So I went to the fridge and I found one of my kids' Utah specials, a Capri Sun. These things are loaded with sugar. And I'm going to drink the whole thing.
Oh.
What flavor are we working on?
This is a Roaring Waters Tropical Tide. So
nice.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna if things get a little crazy, that's why.
I like it.
So my daughter's 11, and I've got those also. I'm not drinking one tonight, but the most disappointing thing with the old Kool-Aid jammer is to cut it open and pour it in a glass. It's like a shot. It's literally like an ounce that comes out of that little pouch.
And you're like, why did this take me like 15 minutes to drink it earlier?
Right. Well, my kids will drink like 10, and I'm like, you got to quit drinking all those. And I'm like, there's nothing in there. Really.
The little tiny straw makes it seem like you're drinking a lot.
Yep. All right. Yeah, the
creative marketing at its best.
Yeah. The little conference liquor straw they put in there.
This is actually terrible. I grabbed this as a joke. It's disgusting. So.
Hey, I've crushed a Yoo-hoo on this show. So
I'm down with Yoo-hoo. Yeah. It's as hard as I go. Sorry, guys.
All right, you're good, man. We got you covered. What do you what you got, Ryan?
Well,
that's not a Capri Sun.
No, it is not. I posted the original Hitchhiker picture today because I can do that again now. So, in a little bit of homage to that, cheers with the Hitchhiker.
All right.
Which is a Modelo for HVAC R&D vernacular.
Yep. So, I'm going to go pretty hard tonight, for real. So, had a little date night tonight. Didn't have my daughter's already in Columbia for Christmas with the grandparents. So my son's working, so we don't really have any kids around tonight. So I am drinking some Basil Hayden Kentucky bourbon whiskey.
Nice.
Just straight. Got me a little highball glass. Got one big cube of ice in here and ready to go. Oh, and it's the toast version. I don't know if anybody's seen that.
Basil Hayden. Is that the brand?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just totally ignorant to this stuff. So.
No, you're good.
I was thinking, does it have basil in it? That doesn't sound good at all.
No. Yeah, Basil Hayden's the name, and then it's a toast version. It's got a little toasty finish.
Got
a little woodsy.
All right.
Yeah, so this should last me the whole show. This pour here, it should. I mean, we'll see, but
you got a heavy pour.
Yep, 3 fingers.
Because he's a grown ass man. Isn't that how the song goes? Well, shall
know.
Shall we bust out the icebreaker? This episode of HVAC R&D is sponsored by BetterHelp. Unlike the mystery equipment we roll up on every day as service professionals, life doesn't come with a schematic, charging chart, or a sequence of operations list to follow. As tradespeople, we work in a fast-paced and ever-changing industry, and it's normal to sometimes feel overwhelmed or stressed. And it's not just you. We all have difficult things happen in life, and you're not alone. Whether it's trying to figure out if your compressor is shorted to ground or you've got a clogged condensate drain, maybe you're looking at a job or career change, or perhaps you're becoming a new spouse or a new parent, encountering any challenge in life can make you feel unsure. There are all kinds of things that are happening in everyone's lives all the time. As service professionals, we are taught to properly diagnose problems with equipment, repair it, replace it, or improve it, and bring it back into service with all the necessary accessories and fail-safes in place and in proper functioning order, because life happens with mechanical things with moving and thinking parts. And just like all the equipment we work on that needs consistent care and service from time to time, so do you. Therapists are the trade service professionals of the mind. They're trained to help you figure out the cause of conflicting and challenging emotions and learn productive coping strategies for dealing with those emotions, making therapy the closest thing to a factory tour of the most important piece of equipment in our lives, our brain, that you'll ever get. We're constantly in front of new people and new scenarios each and every day, and it's natural to sometimes feel overwhelmed and out of place. We want you guys to know that therapy is a positive thing. It's okay to not be okay, it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to seek out professional advice and guidance. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched over 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. It's affordable, and once you sign up, you just fill out their brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If your polarity's off with your therapist, you can easily switch to a new one anytime at no cost to you. Trade crew, I'm telling you that access to therapy could not be simpler. There's no traffic, no waiting rooms, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/HVACRND. That's betterhelp.com/HVACRND. That's 10% off at betterhelp.com/HVACRND.
I still haven't done this. Maybe Ryan has. I just haven't seen it.
What's this? What are we talking about?
So we've started goofing off to kind of just break the ice, going to Google and hitting "I'm feeling lucky" and see what happens. Last week, apparently, I was hungry because it was telling me to go eat pizza, which was very tempting, but they were all closed because we were recording really late Friday night.
So I just go to Google and type "I'm feeling lucky." That's all I do.
We can do it that way too. That works.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Ryan. You got this like button that you're clicking. I don't have
you literally just go to google.com, and underneath the search bar, there's one thing that says Google search. And then next to it, it says like "I'm feeling lucky," or it scrolls and it gives you whatever you end up clicking.
Oh, you just click it. All right. I'm feeling playful. Tic-tac-toe. I thought that was gonna be, I thought with Google that'd be a little more dangerous if I typed in "I'm feeling playful."
Yeah.
Tic-tac-toe, which is, I don't know.
All right, let's see what happens.
Oh wait, adult tic-tac-toe came up.
Uh-oh.
But that's just like got
Of course it did.
It's got, you put shots on it, like on the board. You can buy a board with shots, and then you take shots as your. So that might be something you guys want to do.
Mine
later.
said, "I'm feeling." It scrolled to "I'm feeling trendy," so it gave me like the trending searches of the moment.
See, these are all really disappointing. Like trendy.
I know, it's just so sad.
Yeah.
Blizzard warning. There you go. Hey, Man United, Burnley. Hey, at least we got something interesting.
There's
Trump
no
tax
soccer on mine.
returns. Shania Twain. Here we go. Getting warmer.
You feel like a woman.
Getting warmer.
You a soccer guy, Ryan?
Soccer. No, unfortunately, like if we start to talk sports, I'm going to get super quiet and like get.
Well, no, I mean only because I'm not soccer at all. I'm just not soccer. But
me.
you know,
Sorry.
I
know Ryan probably had a pretty exciting little weekend.
I will say this, Rhydon. Out of all the sports, like the guy in the office here makes fun of me all the time because we have Taylor, who is big time big into sports, and he makes fun of me all the time because I can't name a player for anything and anything except maybe Michael Jordan. I like Joe Montana is about as far as I go.
There we go.
I mean, you can't go wrong there.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was my favorite when I was a kid, and that's it. But I will say I do like a good soccer game if I do have to watch sports, because like every goal is like a full-on miracle. Like it's like an amazing feat. It's like an amazing feat of human like talent every single time. Whereas like basketball for me, it's like it's the same thing back and forth every single day. Okay, sure, it's a little intense, but
I can't watch NBA at all.
I can't watch basketball.
I can't do it.
So, yeah, to me, it's just really boring.
Well, soccer, when they score in soccer, you can just like go eat and come back, and they're still celebrating.
Right, they're still celebrating.
They're like, oh, okay, sweet, here we go.
Yeah. So I will say I got lucky, and I don't know, a few years, however long ago, this is probably like 10 years ago now, maybe longer. Whenever it was when the USA was like pretty close to the World Cup, and you remember Donovan was playing. I think his name is Donovan. Is that right?
Yeah, Landon Donovan.
Landon Donovan. And I happened to watch the game where, like, at the end they were down 2, and like at the end they scored 3 in like the last few minutes to win the game.
I think that was 14.
14. That sounds about right. And it was like that was a cool, like, for me that was a cool, like, patriotic moment. Like I felt like cool to be an American for a minute. I mean, I always feel cool to be.
I feel bad. I watch the World Cup when it comes around. When the U.S. is out, I'm done. I'm like I'm done. I know Ryan's just like, Jesus.
Isn't that the point? Like,
yeah, I mean they're out. Like my country's out. I'm done.
Yeah, you can't root for another country. Isn't that the whole idea?
Right? Yeah. It's like it's like Summer Olympics. I can't root for Argentina.
Yeah, like all right.
In track, I mean, I just can't.
Then you just hope for it to be a good neutrals game. It's like at least just be entertaining. I don't care.
Well, and that's what they had. That was a pretty entertaining.
They did have that.
All right, so let's get into some chirp here.
Yeah.
What's give us a little bit about your career path and what we got going on here.
Should I go all the way back to the very beginning, 40 years ago, when my parents came together?
I mean, is it interesting? Or
the world is your oyster, sir.
I'm going to start all the way back to the very beginning. We're going to be here for a few hours, okay? No, I'll
the Capri Sun back. No.
Yeah.
I'll give a brief overview of kind of how I ended up here at Chiirp, and just kind of my entrepreneurial journey here. It's kind of an interesting story, I think. I've always been entrepreneurial. When I was little, I liked to, sell sour gumballs to the kids at school and things like that.
Right.
And just always liked the hustle. In my 20s, I tried different things. As I didn't graduate from high school or college, so I don't have the traditional educational background that a lot of CEOs might have. But I just was always hustling, just selling things, doing different businesses, trying different things. It turns out if you really want to be successful as an entrepreneur, have a kid and
motivation.
Be forced to feed that kid, and you will succeed.
That's a great point.
My wife and I had our first child, and like I said, everything else was kind of like I was trying different things, but that's when I really kicked it into overdrive. When I had that child, I started my first successful business. So that would have been maybe 11 or 12 years ago, and I started selling windshield repair. So you're driving down the road, a rock flies up and hits your windshield, puts a little chip in the windshield. If you don't get it filled, it'll spread. And so I started, there's, out here in Utah, there's a lot of, like anywhere else really, a lot of road construction, winters break up the roads a lot. And I started selling windshield repair door to door. I'd go knock on a door and I'd just say, hey, I fix windshields. Would you care if I took a look at your windshield? And if they said yes, I'd look, I'd find a chip and I'd say, hey, check it out. And then I'd fix it right there on the spot. And I started making like $200 a day, which was that was baller money for me at the time. Right. And I was really crushing it. And then pretty soon I started to, hire guys to do it. And I had guys like working out of gas stations. And so like if cars would come in and the gas, we'd say, hey, we're going to wash your windshield for free today. And we wash their windshield. And then if there was a chip, we'd say, hey, by the way, you have a chip right here. Why don't you pull over to our little spot over here and we'll fix it.
God, that's genius.
we started cranking out. We were doing like 15 to 20 repairs a day out of these gas stations, and our average is like $50 to $60 per repair. So we'd make like $500 to $1,000 a day out of these gas stations, and it was just like, I was just
damn,
like balling hard, And then one day this guy comes in and he goes, hey, I am the service manager at the Nissan dealership. Why don't you come up to the dealership? We have people coming in for service every day for like oil changes and stuff. Why don't you come in there? And as they come in for service, you can check their windshield.
Genius.
So then we end up in this dealership, and we're doing good out of this dealership. And he's like, I also manage the Honda dealership. So I hire a guy, we get in that Honda dealership. Next thing you know, we're in like 9 dealerships. And I had this really great business going really well. It's making more money than I've, ever made in my life. And I kind of hit kind of a ceiling that everybody hits in business, where you kind of go, do I want to scale where I got to hire like more management and scale that way? Like what's the best way for me to take this to the next level? Because I definitely don't want to stop where I'm at. And I got the idea, I think this was 2014, maybe 15. I got the idea to create a training course, how to start and run your own windshield repair business. So I started doing videos from my house on how to do the repair, how to call the insurance companies, how to do all the different things in the business, how to get a dealership, that kind of stuff. And I created this course, and I started selling it. I called the people that made the tools for us, and I said, hey, I want to put my logo on your tool. Like, I want to white label your tools. And they said, sure. And so I had this course. Now you could get your set of tools and training from me for $3,000.
Boom.
And I made like $2 million selling that course.
Jeez.
And I was selling it through Facebook ads and text messaging. So I would advertise, hey, learn how to start a windshield repair business. And if somebody was interested, they'd submit their information. I'd text them and say, hey, let's get on a call and talk. And then we'd text back and forth. They'd ask questions. I'd send them a video to watch. And then if they liked the video, they would schedule a call, and we'd get them on, and we'd sell them the kit and the training. And, still didn't want to stop there. And said, hey, man, if this texting automation, I was kind of piecing together different softwares to make it work and kind of coming up with this really cool sales process. And then said, hey, man, if this works for my business, I bet it would work for other businesses. And so I started putting a plan together to build what is now Chiirp. I didn't call it Chiirp at the time. We didn't have a name for it. It was just an idea at the time.
Right.
And I got an engineer, a software engineer, to partner with me, who's very good software engineer. I've known him for many years. And we started building this platform. And pretty soon it was a viable platform that people could use to make sales in their business. And we started creating all these cool automations. And then home service businesses started to pick up on it. And that's really how it all started. And we started integrating with House Call Pro, Service Titan. And we got to a point where, man, we saw that the home service industry was benefiting greatly from these sales processes. And so we doubled down and just focused 100% on the home service industry. And now Chiirp is built specifically now for home services to use the same processes that I used to automate my sales process and to, generate, we say capture more leads, connect faster, and close more deals. And so that's the that's the condensed version of the last 12 years of my life. But that's how it all came to be. So
sweet. I mean, yeah, the home service industry, man, is just at a whole nother level now. I feel like with being able to reach. You know, I just feel like nobody's doing mailers anymore. Maybe they are. Maybe that works in certain towns, but I just feel like that stuff's it's just changing, right?
Oh,
Everything's just changing quickly.
Yep.
And that was.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say one of the biggest things that stood out to me when I was going through the information with you before is talking about the percentage of people that, you know, won't answer a phone call, but will look at a text message, and I know you'll get into some of that. And I was going to kind of ask, as you were building and developing this text process, now, where did that start? Literally from just trying to just do multiple group texts from your phone, or were you using, you know, whatever your software was and doing automation through it for the time? Like I know Square and some other different like POS systems will do like minimal automated texting. So did you kind of start with something like that and then develop?
Yeah,
that was kind of how you started going that way.
Like piecing things together to make it. Because so you know, you're paying for these. When I was doing the course sales, which I still sell that course, by the way. When I was doing the course sales, you know, leads come in from the internet, and people have extremely short attention spans. And, you know, there's studies done by Salesforce, and your best opportunity to convert a lead happens in that first minute of them submitting their information. Gone are the days of like requesting information and then, I'll get back to them within, you know, an hour or 24 hours. TikTok and the internet and everything has destroyed our attention spans. We have, we're like a minute at best, right? If we don't contact that lead within a minute, our conversion rate drops. And so if I can automate that first point of contact from when they do say, hey, I'm interested, here's my information, and then immediately say, hey, I noticed you submitted your information, I'd love to chat. You know, that conversion happens right there, because they go, oh, there's a person here. This is real. It's because you're going from a digital world to now you're communicating. And so your conversion, and that's, you know, people will complain all day long. They'll say, you know, all these leads suck. And you'll say, well, what are you doing to convert them? And they're like, well, I call them as soon as I can. And how long does that take? Sometimes it's like an hour. Sometimes I'll get to them the next day or whatever. And you're like, dude, you're never going to convert at a level that's going to be, you know, competitive, because you're just not contacting fast enough. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, so when I was in Atlanta, and me and my old boss were trying to build an HVAC company, and we partnered with a lead driven service thing. I mean, not kind of like an Angie's List type thing, but same thing. Me and him are both in the field working, and the leads would come to his phone. You know, he's in an attic. He's he's doing this, doing that, and I'm like, how do our leads do today? Well, yeah, I still got several. Man, we got a whole bunch today, but I got to call them back. I'm like, dude, they're gone.
They're gone.
Like, I mean, somebody called them back. It's not us. You know,
their furnace is replaced at this point.
Yeah, we're and the ones that, I'll be honest, the ones that did answer when we finally got back to him, they were shit leads, right? Because the homeowner's just really not ready to do anything, and we got the scraps. We picked up at the end there.
Yep.
So, and I was gonna say, you know, when you say our attention span, so we also can't speak to people face to face anymore, right?
Oh.
And that's done now. That's the same as a phone call. Like, I know people that are scared to literally talk to somebody on the phone.
Yep.
They've resorted now to just text. Like, you call them and they don't answer. You text them. They're like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I'm like, "Well, I just called you. You didn't want to."
Yeah, like,
and they'll send you like a novel back, and I'm like, "Dude."
Yeah.
So
you've heard that, you know, you hear it. They say, you know, I always tell businesses, if we're talking, they say, well, I do it that way because that's how we've always done it. I'm like, well, then you're gonna die. Like, if that's your attitude, you're gonna die, because we're in the fastest shift in, you know, human behavior in history, right? We've gone from up until even like 2010 really was when smartphones started to really hit. And so all the way up until then, you could say that because everything changed very slowly, but we hit an exponential curve. And now things change dramatically fast. And if you don't adapt to those changes, you die very fast. And so the communication has changed, hugely over the last 10 years. And I hate to be the guy because it's sad, because it is sad that people can't.
Yeah, I know where you're at. Yeah.
They can't communicate the way that they can. And I'm kind of, I'm kind of facilitating that further by jumping on the texting bandwagon.
But you're facilitating it, but you're not doing it to take away from a true interpersonal interaction. You're doing it to help. Technically, you're doing it to help the consumer get a quicker answer from someone they're trying to get a product from, and you're trying to get the person providing the product to that consumer faster than they. To me, it's not exactly the same.
I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta. It's never. I mean, sales have always been around, and this is no different than a guy standing at the front door, selling a vacuum cleaner, and hook, line, and sinker them right then, like close the deal
or fixing the chip in your windshield, either one.
Yeah, or
exactly. Right.
I mean,
I want to know if the guy that fixed mine at the Sam's Club in Kannapolis like 8 years ago had bought your course.
I know that company. If he was at the Sam's Club, I know that company. It was a company called Chiirp. I know that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Now I'm sitting here trying to think. I think I've got at least one or two on mine.
Yeah. Now you're like, oh.
I mean, it's probably literally 80. God, it might be almost 90% of all cars.
Oh yeah, if we want to go down that road, there's some.
It's not good, man. It's not good.
Yeah. So going back to that, what you're saying, the interpersonal thing, throughout history, there's different ways to communicate with people, and there's certain types of communication that draw a certain emotional reaction. And texting right now has the highest emotional connection. You guys know it if you think about it for a second. When you get a text notification versus any other notification, you're jumping faster. It's the fastest.
Right.
You want to see what it is. Even if it's a Facebook message notification or an email notification or any app notification, is not going to get the same emotional reaction as a text message. So you immediately create a personal connection with your potential customer, which is very valuable.
All right, so you're gonna have to help me with this one. I'm gonna. They don't really sponsor our show, but I'm gonna throw them in here. Are you a music guy at all? You play an instrument or anything?
I don't play an instrument, but I love music.
I know where this is going.
Okay. Do you know Sweetwater Music?
Yes.
Probably do.
No, Sweetwater Music.
I mean, if you buy anything online, music like drumsticks or a guitar, it comes from Sweetwater, and it's out, and it's
their manufacturer. Or?
No, it's like a Guitar Center or a huge wholesaler. So
got it.
So I bought my son literally a pair of drumsticks, right? $20.
Okay.
And bought them. They got shipped to the house, and this happens every time from them. So I got them today, and I'm looking at this text message right now. Boom, 4:30. Hey, Dennis, it's Matt at Sweetwater. So, there we go. It's personal. Yep. He did not text me this. No. It's Matt at Sweetwater, ! I know it's been a few weeks, just making sure things went well. And then immediately after that, I get a phone call from Indiana. I don't know anybody in
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yep, Fort Wayne. And it's Matt. I always let it go to voicemail. And they're like, hey, it's Matt, Sweetwater, just checking in on you. I mean, it's relentless with these guys. But it's like when I get that text from them, and now obviously no, I bought enough shit from them, but I'm like, oh, here comes the text from Sweetwater. But it's super personal, personable. I mean, yeah. And now I don't think I've ever texted him back. I feel like I want to text him right now to see what he's doing, but it's It's the same. Yeah. What? Wearing khakis or what? Yeah. It's I guess same idea, right? It's immediately just
So
on top of it.
You have this crazy opportunity in home service right now. So you guys know there's a lot of like really crappy operators in home service. There's a lot of really great businesses.
Oh, geez,
and then there's a ton of really terrible operators. And so it does not take much to really shine, like to really put yourself ahead of everybody. And if you just create a little bit more of a better white glove experience for your customers, you're 10 times ahead of your competition. Because I mean, at the end of the day, sure, you can argue that you do a better job at HVAC, but from the customer's perspective, they don't really they care to a degree, but not the way that you care.
And they don't really know.
And they don't know.
They truly don't know.
At the end of the day,
most cases,
if you communicate very well, and I don't just mean during the job, I'm talking from lead inception all the way through the entire customer journey. If you maintain perfect communication and make them feel like you're walking them through the journey, at the end, when they go to leave a review, they're going to say, man, their communication was on point. They're going to remember that really. I mean, over most, they don't care about the install. You fixed their thing. That's great. They don't care. They're like, the heater works now. It didn't work. Now it works. That's cool. But when they say, man, they sure did treat me well, that's huge for your business. That adds just incredible value to your business. And it makes them remember you rather than just the HVAC guy that fixed my heater. They're going to remember your brand. They're going to save your number in your phone. You're going to become their guy,
Right. Yeah, that's I know me and Ryan get on here all the time, and I don't ever want to feel like I'm beating up on our guys, but most of us are technicians, right? A lot of these technicians get their license, become a business owner, and then it's just like, oh shit, now what?
What
I can fix
a
furnace all day.
Yep.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, take us through let's just take us through an HVAC call or a job with Chiirp. How does it? So how are we doing this?
Well, I guess actually, I was gonna say before you even go there, my other question is, for some of these guys, they may or may not have a CRM or a customer management system. So first off, if they don't have that, how would Chiirp work versus, once you integrate it into something else, so we can kind of go down that afterwards.
Good point. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go from the philosophical point of view of what we're trying to accomplish, and then we'll go into the technical logistics of how we accomplish it to answer right in your question. So,
nice.
So the philosophical or the benefits of what we're trying to accomplish is perfect communication through the entire customer journey. So let's break up the customer journey into 3 buckets. You've got lead conversion. So this is the stage where we're trying to turn a lead into a customer. We've got the job itself where we're performing the work. And then we've got post job, what's going to happen after. So at the beginning, we want to convert more leads into customers. That's the goal. So how do we do that? There's two really important parts to this process. Number one, we already talked about it extensively, speed to lead. We want to make sure that every lead that comes in is being contacted very quickly. So they fill out a form on your website. They fill out a form on Facebook. They fill out a form. Maybe it's an Angie lead. A lot of people hate Angie leads, but
right.
We have companies that really crush with Angie leads because of they use a specific conversion process. So people are requesting information. Maybe they scan a QR code on your truck or something. But the key there is we contact them very quickly. So it's like, hey, I'm here. I'm ready to do business. If they search you on Google and they submit their information and you don't contact them quickly, they're on to the next in 30 seconds, right? So if we text them, I had this happen recently. My son threw a baseball through our window, and yeah, he's the sports guy in our family. He's the athlete. So so after I got done smacking him around, no, I'm just kidding.
Hey, yeah, it's all good.
No, I'm a very good father. No, I actually laughed because he came in my room pale as a ghost and was like, I'm so sorry. And I was really proud that he was like, didn't try to lie or anything. He said, Dad, I threw the baseball through. And I was really proud, Dad. But anyways, I looked up I just typed in window, repair for homes in my area, right? And the first guy that pops up was the first guy I contacted. I called, he didn't answer, and I hung up the phone and immediately was about to click the next one, but I got a text message from the first guy saying, "Hey, I'm on a call, but I'm just wrapping it up. I'll call you back in just a minute." And that was enough. That text message, although manually sent, it was still enough for me to stop and not go to the next guy. I was like, okay, I'll wait for this guy to call me back because I don't want to get.
But at least he did answer.
He answered, and
not the way you necessarily wanted, but at least he did answer.
He did before I got to the next guy, which was the idea, right? Before I get to the next guy, and so that won the deal because he called me back in like 5 minutes and he got the deal and is now a Chiirp user. But
there you go.
Salesman sells a sales guy.
But the idea there is we contact the leads very, very quickly. So if we're talking about the customer journey, we're only 10 seconds in. We've got a long way to go, right?
Right.
So we've accomplished speed to lead. That's really important. But what I would consider to be probably the most important part of lead conversion is going to be consistent follow-up. We do not follow up with our leads. People in the trades are not doing a good job of following up with their leads. And the problem with that is and Rhydon will relate to this. Rhydon's a sales guy.
Yep.
Sales guys like action. They don't like mundane tasks like following up. They like action. They like to be where the hot leads are. They want to close deals. And to get them to, it's a battle to get sales guys to consistently follow up with their leads. So they'll call once, they might call twice, and then that's kind of the end of the attempt to convert that lead. And so instead of trying to force the sales guy to do something he naturally hates doing, we automate it. We just say, all right, let's just consistently send out text messages, emails, and voicemails to the customer to warm them up. So while the sales guys are focused on hot leads and closing deals, Chiirp's in the background warming up the cold leads and preparing them for the sales guy, getting them hot. And so, the lead submits their information, they don't answer. The next day we'll send a text message. Hey, we noticed that you had reached out yesterday but we haven't yet connected. Are you still, looking for HVAC services? And if they respond yes, perfect, there's a lead. Let's go. Let's talk. But we didn't have to do anything to try to get, the automation took care of that. A day later from there, we can send a voicemail. Hey, it's Ryan. I noticed that you request some information. I know you're super busy and this probably isn't like, super exciting, but if your HVAC system needs some attention, we'd love to help you out. And just a consistent follow-up until they convert without any effort from the business, all automated. And
now,
go ahead.
To interrupt you, Ryan, but how often do you suggest guys like change their templates, or do you have a number of templates and it just kind of randomly uses one from time to time so it seems more personal? How often do you re-record the voicemails, or do you re-record a new one so often?
The beauty on follow-up is by the time a customer is going to go through that campaign again, it's going to seem fresh. Through a follow-up campaign, they're only going to go through that once, as a new customer. So to them, it's brand new, right? It may say that's what in marketing.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah. It's
in marketing, we always say we get tired of our marketing long before our audience does, and so we try to change things up, not realizing that it's working, and there's plenty of people that haven't seen it yet, and it's fresh to them. So really, yeah, once you have killer content, it can convert for years and years. A good voicemail can convert for years and years. We have a guy, Dustin Miller, out of California. He's been using a very specific cold outreach, not cold outreach, but a shoulder season outreach when he has light schedule, and he'll send a voicemail that just says, "Hey, it's Dustin Miller. Thank you so much for being a customer of ours. Just want to let you know that it's that time of year again, and we'd love to tune up your furnace. We're doing a $49 special right now for 50 people. Just text me back on this number." And he sends that voicemail out to his database if he's got a light schedule, and he says in the last 3 years he has not had an open slot in his shoulder season because of that campaign. So we're getting a little off course there. So we've gone through. Now we're still in the lead conversion stage. Now we talk about sending out an estimate. That's another super important part of the journey, is sending out estimate follow-ups. People will send out an estimate and then they won't follow up on the job and try to close it. And if you just had a 3-step estimate follow-up campaign, you will convert more estimates into jobs. And we even go further than 3 steps, but even if it was that light, this is a huge thing. There's 2 parts to follow-up that we solve with automation. We know the fortune is in the follow-up. We've all heard it a million times. It's a cliche at this point, but nobody's doing it. And that's why it's like so awesome. It's such a great opportunity for you to shine and move ahead of your competition if you're doing just a few extra steps. But follow-up is emotional. It's something that a sales guy, like I said, they don't want to do it, but they also will make excuses not to do it because they don't want to bug somebody, and they think they're bugging somebody. And so they go, if that guy wants it, he'll call me, right? That's like the worst thing a sales guy can say is, oh, if he wants it, he'll call me. The guy wants it. He requests the information. He's busy though. He's doing a million different things. He doesn't want to have to replace his system, but he needs to. But he's putting it off because he's got a million other things going on. And the guy that follows up is the guy that's going to get his attention and get the business. And so if you, instead of relying on the emotional salesperson to follow up, automation does not feel emotion. It's a robot, right? It's going to follow up with the lead regardless. It's like, be the annoying guy without having to be the annoying guy, right? And it's going to consistently follow up regardless of how you feel about it. And so those 2 steps, the speed to lead and then following up on both the leads and the estimates, is going to dramatically change your business. Even if you used it, if you used Chiirp just for those 2 things, you would get your money's worth all day long. But that's just the first part. That's just the first step of the customer journey. We're now into the job, and now we talk about more conversational communication throughout the job. So instead of sending these kind of like boxed generic appointment reminders, like, you are booked with Wasatch Heating and Air 2 p.m. on Saturday. It's, hey Jennifer, it's Brian, just wanted to let you know that we've got you booked for 2:00. I'm excited to work with you. Here's a picture of your technician. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know, but we'll see it too. That's way more conversational, way more personal, way more, you're automating the relationship building process with your customer. And so now they're going, okay, cool, thank you. And then leading up to the appointment, hey, just a reminder, your appointment's tomorrow. We'll see you then. Let me know if you have any problems or need any help. And then we have what we call the membership booster. If you're selling memberships, this is killer. At Technician Dispatched, we're going to send a text message. Hey, Jennifer, it's Brian. Your technician is on his way. He'll be there shortly. By the way, if you'd like to save a little bit of money on this call, just be sure to ask him about our membership program. that right there is like, I mean, think about that. If you're at all, Rhydon, you're in sales, you've heard of framing the conversation or
creating a starter before you can get there.
Yes, if a customer asks a question, it's a done. It's like, oh, I'm closing this deal, right? So technicians, like you said, they're not natural born. There definitely are some that are natural born sales guys, but some aren't. And we want to give them all the help that they can. And so all the help we can. So if we say, now the technician shows up, the customer says, hey, I got this text message said I could save a little bit of money. He's like, oh yeah, let me tell you about our membership program. He doesn't have to remember. It's not this awkward thing that's like, oh, hey, by the way, you're not bringing it up. They've already thought about it for a few minutes while you've been on the way. Just totally frames the conversation for a perfect opportunity to sell a membership. Now from there,
that's really good there.
Yep. Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah. From there, we go into post job. This is where we're going to conversationally ask for a review. A lot of people are using like different review platforms, and it really bugs me because they'll be communicating with the customer throughout the journey here, and then after the job is complete, their other review system will kick in and send a text message, and it'll say, thank you so much for doing business with Wasatch Heating and Air. Please leave us a review here. And it's like from a different phone number. It's not conversational. It's not personal. And although that could work and it can convert, you'll get a much higher conversion if you're now still Brian right through the whole conversation, and you still say, thank you so much, Jennifer, for doing business with us today. By the way, our business heavily relies on online reviews. Click this link and that'll take you to Google, and you could leave us a quick review. You've communicated with them all the way through, and now we're asking for the review from the same guy that they've been communicating with. Very personal touch, very, and now they're like, I like Brian. I'm going to leave him a review. And it's just, we've kind of like created a relationship automatically without actually having to do any extra work. And so we're going to get a higher review conversion. And then we can then convert them into a referral request when they do leave a review. So when they leave the review on Google, we recognize that. And we can say, if they leave a 5-star review, send them a text message that says, thank you so much for your 5-star review. Do you know anybody that might need our services? And now we're asking everybody for a referral. Imagine if you asked everybody for a referral. Like, people think that they're asking everybody. And it's like,
no, we're not. We're not. We're not at all.
It's hard. And so
I hated asking for referrals when I sold insurance. It was, hey, it's like you hand them, you pull out, your stack of green cards. Like, okay, so you're saying Susie and Bob. Yep, Susie and Bob. What's their address and their phone number?
Oh gosh.
Hold on. I mean, I remember. Well, yeah, it's like I remember having the wife go and get her address book,
right?
To try to get reviews.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
oh.
That's gangster right there.
OG.
Yeah. So,
here's a little tip for asking for referrals. If you ask for multiple referrals, it makes the customer's brain kind of go, I can't think. If you say, do you know a few people, or do you know 5 people, or do you know 3 people, or whatever, their brain's going to automatically shut off. But if you ask for 1, they will give you more if they were going to give you more anyways. So you just say, can you think of 1 person that might need our services? And now their brain doesn't shut off because they're not going 5 people. Okay, I know Jennifer, I know John, I know Jason. They're all J's, I guess. And then at 3, they shut off and they can't think of any more. And so they don't give you any because they couldn't think of 5. But now Jennifer, John, and Jason, you don't get them because you asked for 5 and they only thought of 3. So if you ask for 1, they'll say, oh, yeah, I know Jennifer, and they'll send you Jennifer, and then they'll go, oh, yeah, you could also – if they were going to give you multiple, they'll give you those multiple anyways. So ask for 1. That's just a little tip there. Just ask for 1 person. Psychologically, you'll get a higher conversion.
And then I'm guessing the next one is, hey, John, this is Brian, your friend.
Yep.
So we should give you
Hey, John. Yeah, Jennifer heard you over. Yep. So yeah, absolutely. We can get as deep as you want with the automation. And now we've got a review. We've asked for the referral. Now we want to maintain that customer through the whole year so that next year they book with us again, and it's just totally seamless. So now let's talk about, filter change reminders every 3 months. Hey, it's Brian again. It's been 3 months. It's time to get your filter changed. We're not at this point. We are not trying to sell anything. We're just being helpful, right? Hey, it's been 3 months. Time to change your filter. Oh man, thanks, Brian. Yep, I'm gonna do it.
And if you guys hadn't been taking notes at this point, I feel like
we needed this so bad.
I feel like I got better at my job just listening to this.
Well, that was my next thing. So, have you seen companies that have brought you aboard like tighten up everything else?
Right.
I mean, or they just give up completely and just let Chiirp handle it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So now we're sending out filter change reminders. We're also sending out some emails at this point just to keep brand top of mind. Maybe some spring fall tips and tricks. Different emails that can just again, we're not trying to sell them anything, but they'll see your brand, and if they do need something, they'll just email or text you back. And then if they don't, at the 12-month mark or whatever it is for your area, you hit them again at 12 months with a voicemail. Hey, it's been a year since our last service. It's time to get you back on the books. What works better for you, AM or PM? If you ask them that question, what works better for you, AM or PM? It's like the easiest answer. Oh, AM's better for me. Boom. Now you've got a lead. Let's get them booked. Close the deal. So now we've taken them through from the moment they became a lead through the entire year, and now we've turned them not only into a customer but into a raving fan that will continue to buy from us, year after year.
So how does this ringless? I don't know if I've ever gotten a ringless voicemail. This may be too intricate, but is it just you just look down and you have a voicemail?
Yeah, you just see a missed call and a voicemail. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's
I was gonna say,
go for it.
I guess like with phones, when you call them, there's got to be a button you push that just automatically go to voicemail. I'm guessing it's just automatically doing that for you.
Well, the system's tricky. It's doing some cool like tech in the background. What it's doing is it's calling your cell phone twice, and one of them. So when the first one goes out, the second one hits voicemail, right? Because the calls your phone's
genius.
And so it's hitting your voicemail, and it's leaving a recording while the other one hangs up before it even rings on your end. So it's all happening before it even hits your phone. But the technology is that it's sending two phone calls to your phone, and then the second one hits voicemail because the first one's tying up the line, and then it'll leave the voicemail.
So it's the Chiirp double tap. There we go.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the philosophical approach to the automation, right? We're trying to automate the relationship with the customer. We're not trying to get rid of humans from this interaction. We're trying to turn humans into superhumans that can do a lot more and become, you can manage a lot more conversations and a lot more customers instead of trying to send every single one a text. It's just going to do it for you, and you're there to answer when they respond. So Rhydon, we had talked about the philosophical versus the logistical side of it, and so we can talk the tech side of it. Chiirp generally, the magic of Chiirp really ties in is because it communicates with different systems. So let's talk first if you do have a CRM, and then we'll talk about what you can do if you don't. But we're deeply integrated with like Service Titan. We're the deepest integration like Service Titan, House Call Pro, Jobber, some other ones. And a lot of this stuff will just happen completely automatically, right? You send out an estimate. Now let's talk about Service Titan, for example. You send out an estimate. Chiirp's going to recognize the estimate. It's going to recognize the line items, tags, technicians, business units, job types. It's going to recognize all the different things that are on that estimate, and it's going to trigger the right campaign for that specific type of estimate. So again, going back to the conversation I had with Dustin Miller, he has a very specific follow-up campaign for a high-ticket job. He doesn't want to treat every estimate the same. He wants a certain follow-up campaign for high-ticket versus low-ticket and different things. So our system can recognize all those various filters within Service Titan and say, oh, this is high-ticket. It's got an invoice value of 10,000 or more. It's got this job type or this technician, whatever different things he uses to filter that out. Chiirp recognizes and it says, let's start the high ticket follow-up campaign or the replacement follow-up campaign. And then if it's like a low ticket service type job, it's going to be a different cadence, different follow-up. And so that's the magic. That's really where everybody's like really, paying attention to Chiirp, because we have that deep integration and we can become we call them deep targeted campaigns that trigger at the exact right time. So it's like, we say the exact right campaign for the exact right customer at the exact right time. And we're using the CRM to recognize that. So you don't have to trigger these things. You're doing everything you normally would have done in Service Titan, and Service Titan is telling Chiirp, okay, hey, we've got an estimate out there that's not closed. Start the follow-up campaign. And it's going to start following up. And what's cool is it's going to recognize when somebody accepts that estimate. So if that job gets accepted, it's not going to keep trying to follow up because we accomplished what we were trying to accomplish. It's going to stop the follow-up campaign and start now the scheduled appointment campaign. And it's going to move the customer from bucket to bucket based on where they're at in the journey. So we're not sending out estimate follow-up texts and scheduled appointment reminder texts and review request texts. It's happening along the journey. So logistically, because we sync so well with these systems, you don't have to change what you're doing. You just
pretty much once you do almost like a one-time setup, you're almost ready to roll for.
That's right.
A good while.
Yep. And we have all these campaigns we've talked about. Well, that's one of the things that people are kind of intimidated by, is they say, well, that sounds great, but man, I don't have time to create all these campaigns. That's really the huge difference for what we do. When we work with a company, we work with them as their automation expert. And so we build campaigns with them. We have all these pre-built ones that are already, working really well. We call them, battle-tested campaigns that you can just immediately have in your business. You can immediately have the review request campaign. You can immediately have estimate rehash, immediately have speed to lead and lead follow-up, immediately have these personalized appointment reminders, shoulder season outreach, membership booster campaign. All these are pre-built, ready to go. And we build those and set those up in your account. So you're not having to come up with content. If you already have content or want to change it, we'll help you customize it and build those campaigns specifically for you. So that's the magic right there, is you get the software, but you also get my automation team that will work with you and help you implement these strategies in your business.
Well, and you probably got ways to say stuff, right? Like he may think he has his voicemail set up. Yep. And you're like, man, you didn't really say like 3 things that are gonna register to the homeowner.
Yep,
like we know what registers.
Yep. So just like the example of would you like AM or PM? That exactly is a good example of what you're talking about. It's like,
yeah, you got analytics on all that.
Yep. You go, oh, let's ask this question or let's ask that question. And so now you're not starting from scratch. You're going from things that are, like I said, battle tested.
Right.
And so that's really, the awesome part with working with us is we've built an absolutely like really, really complex, really powerful, really capable software. And we don't expect you to know how to use it right out of the gate. That's why you get the software and an automation expert to work with in your business. Now, for those that don't use a CRM, those things I mentioned in Service Titan, we can do in House Call Pro. We can do in Jobber. We're working on integration with Sarah right now. But for those that don't, there is some manual work that you have to do to trigger these campaigns.
Yeah, I can see that now. Most definitely.
So I still recommend using something like this or Chiirp, but because here's what I tell people. They say, well, should I scale to a certain size and then add automation? And I say, well, you're gonna have to work backwards. It's probably better to start with automation so that you naturally scale with it and you're not having to change things up later. And you can scale faster because you're using tools that are gonna, work as you scale. And so and some people don't agree with that. They'll say, I'll wait till I get to a certain point and then I'll add automation to my business, which is fine. I would generally lean towards, do what the successful companies are doing now, rather than trying to get to there and then implementing.
Right.
Right. So you can definitely use it. It's a standalone system. It's a fully functional, like it is a CRM customer database. You can. It's not. I'm not going to say it compares to anything like Service Titan or House Call Pro as far as like dispatching, all that stuff. But for keeping and managing contacts, you can totally do that. And you could run all of your business. We have a lot of companies that, like, a lot of like smaller companies like carpet cleaners and things that do use it just standalone without anything else. But I do recommend, like, if you're trying to scale your business, CRM is definitely like it's definitely something you're.
Well, I'm starting to talk to more smaller operations that are bringing CRM in. I mean,
yeah, it's like why bother? Why try to add it later? Like, just start knowing you're going to need it later. Just go, and you'll scale faster because
you've already got a process in place. Yeah. That's half the problem is these guys just don't have a process for all the different things they need to go through their business.
It's like if you have a hammer and you go, well, as soon as I get really good at hammering, I'm going to switch to a nail gun. And you're like, well, it's a totally different thing.
Yep. Why
not just start now with the nail gun and, you won't have to, so same idea. So yeah, that's a pretty broad overview of automation. The ideas that I've presented here are like just ideas as far as like you could use Chiirp for anything that you want. Any idea that you have for automation, you could make it work, because we can even say like, okay, all right, if in Service Titan a job is completed and the invoice value is $10,000 or more, tell Chiirp to tell this direct mail company to send a gift basket with our logo on it. And now your customer that spent $10,000 with you gets a gift basket automatically. You don't have to think about it. It's got your logo on it, and it just automatically goes out. Or you could say, if somebody leaves me a 5-star review, send them a $10 Starbucks gift card. Or, there's like anything that we can come up with, we can automate it. We can come up, as long as we're getting the trigger from Service Titan or from, there's other places that we can trigger from. We can tell Chiirp Chiirp internally will send a text message, email, or voicemail, but it can also tell other systems to do things like direct mail. So we could say, all right, if somebody books a job in that has an invoice value of X or is a replacement, send postcards to the 50 closest neighbors. We can trigger that. That would tell our direct mail company to pull the data of the 50 closest neighbors and send a postcard. So there's really, sky's the limit on what you could come up with automation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, you got 2 guys in a company. They got an install crew and 1 tech, maybe a lady in the office. Like they could crush this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when we were that size, we sucked at all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to do it on your own is, I don't want to say it's impossible, but
it's a lot.
Oh,
it's a lot, man. It is a lot. And it's not like you want to cut out human interaction, but there's so many days where I'm like, God, I just don't want to make that call right now.
Dude.
Like,
yeah. Well, yeah.
Because of, it's summertime, man. Everybody lights their hair on fire and takes off running in HVAC. And
well, there's two.
That's when you miss all this. That's when you just like, we'll work on it in the spring, we'll work on it in the fall.
Yep.
And
there's 2 kinds of business owners, right? There's the business owner that wakes up every day and starts over because he has to get a new customer, and he has to, he's just always trying to get new customers. And then you have the people that are scaling into big businesses because they are focused on not just getting the customer once, but creating a customer that is an asset that will buy from them over and over again.
Right.
So the guy that's going, I gotta get a new customer tomorrow because I gotta make enough money to pay my bills, is and not focus on turning that customer into something that's gonna be a lifelong asset. That's never gonna scale. But if you go, okay, every new customer that comes in is going into, you know, my sequence that's going to maintain and nurture this customer so that next year they'll buy from me. Now you're building a book of business, you know, a book of customers, and that's an asset rather than just waking up and going, shoot, where's our next customer coming from? You know?
Yeah, because that never ends. That's just you know, that's paycheck to paycheck.
You created a really good job for yourself instead of a business. Yeah.
Right.
That's a good point. Watch that one happen.
Yep. I can guarantee you touch some nerves in your listeners right there.
Well, yeah, I mean, because we talk about it a lot on here, and there's, we're not on here saying we've got $1 million HVAC companies, but I've worked at some really, really large ones that have all this incorporated, and it's just a machine.
Yep.
And then I've worked, you know, where it was me and one guy, and we could not get it together. Even when we had a shit ton of work coming in, it's just like, it's not fun, you know. It's not enjoyable.
No.
And it should be, because you got work coming in. But I feel like this takes a lot of stress off of things that you should be doing. And next thing you know, you're just growing.
We when I was 16, this guy in our town, he was known for, I don't know how he got known for this, but he was known for making like the best chocolate chip cookies you could imagine. Like he made like really, really good chocolate chip cookies. And I think he got known because he brought him to like a church function or something, and everybody was just like, oh my God. And somebody was like, you need to open like a store that sells chocolate chip cookies. And he was like, that's a good idea. So he rents this building in our town and starts baking chocolate chip cookies. And we lived about 30 minutes from him. We lived in a mountain town, and our house was about 30. We were very well spread out throughout, you know, the community. So he's like, yeah, we deliver. So I was like, these cookies are so good. Let's get some. I was like, me and my buddies were hanging out. I'm like, let's get some cookies. So we call him up, and he's like, yeah, I'll deliver them. I was like, okay, we'll each have 2 cookies. So 6 total cookies, and they're $3 each. So that's $18. So now this guy gets in his car and he drives 30 minutes to deliver these cookies to my house. And I did the math, and I was like, that guy, I think, made like $4 an hour doing this, delivering these cookies.
Right.
And the principle stuck with me throughout my life, because I was like, you don't, just because you're really good at HVAC or good at making cookies or whatever, doesn't mean you're good at running a business. And so if you are trying, you know, if you catch yourself now early enough saying, hey, I am really good at HVAC, but I am not great at running a business, work on that side of it. Rather than, you obviously need to always be good at providing your service, but don't think that just because you're good at, you know, installing a furnace and being really good at that means you're good at running a business. You need to learn the skills that will, you know, keep you from delivering $18 worth of cookies for, you know, for an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's that pride, man. You got to set the pride aside.
Yeah. Say, hey, I'm really good at what I do. I'm not great at running a business, which is great. That's a good, like, recognizing that you're not is this first step to fixing the problem, right? And then there are so many resources. There's so many resources on running a good HVAC business. You know, there's so many companies, so many good coaching companies, so many good groups that you can join. But kind of let your guard down and say, hey, I'm good at this, but I want to scale and grow a good business that I can sell eventually. And the resources are there. Just, you know, if you take advantage of them and kind of drop the pride of going, oh, this is good. Like I said, I've been doing this for years. I know what I'm doing. It's like, hey, you know, things are different.
Well, and that's why we always say, you know, Dennis coined it forever, you know, evolve or dissolve. You've got to constantly be learning. You've got to constantly invest in your business. You got to study your market. You got to learn what you're doing each and every day. You know, like Ryan said, there are loads and loads of tools out there at what truly is, a low cost for a tremendous upside for what you can do, with the potential in your business.
Yeah.
And that's, so what, that's Chiirp. That's a lot of these other ones, but that's one of the biggest reasons why we thought this made sense, especially, I've learned a ton more from this conversation than I even did when I spoke with you and Justin before, and then when we went through the demo with Dustin.
Yeah.
That you guys talk. It's as hearing it now, you really or I guess I should say, I got a lot more interesting perspective on how it works and how you can use it to truly do something.
Well, yeah, you could be a better salesman just picking up some of the things that Chiirp implements.
Yeah, imagine if you were closing all the hot leads and you had an assistant that followed up with all the cold ones. Like, how much more effective would you be? That's
So what are your top 5 trade industries that you think your top 5 is that y'all are involved in
that we work with as far as so HVAC obviously is a great one that we work with. Plumbing and electrical are right there as well. We have some great companies that use our system that are in plumbing and electrical. We do a lot of work with landscape lighting, carpet cleaners, and
home service. I mean, I know that's a big umbrella.
Any home service that requires this type of communication. Oh, garage doors. That's what I was thinking of. Garage doors is another one. Tommy Mello and his group. So any home services we really heavily focus on. Again, like I said at the beginning, Chiirp was designed for anybody that could, use a better sales process. But when we saw the success home services were having, and that there was just a huge need in the space because people are just kind of stuck in kind of an old school process. And that's what's so cool, is to see companies that are kind of, it doesn't take much and you're all of a sudden way better than everybody else because you're doing things, you're implementing systems that nobody else is doing. And it's like, it's pretty amazing. Like, to think that all you got to do is send a few text messages throughout the customer journey and you're doing better than everybody else. Like, that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's got their company in their town, and they're just like, God, how are they like that? And these are some of the things that they're doing.
Yes.
And they may have been doing it for years with real people because they got, 400 working there.
Right.
But it's the same principle, right?
That's the beauty of the digital world, is you can appear much bigger and much more efficient than you might be because you're using tools that weren't available just not long ago. So.
I've always said on this show, you got to look big. I mean, we got our first van wrapped, and I pull up to the lady's house, and she's like, "Man, I see you guys all over town." It's literally me.
Yep. It's just you
and my one van wrapped.
Yep. I helped my brother start a carpet cleaning business, and we're like, from day one, awesome branding on the van. Let's get a really cool wrap. He's called Pineapple Carpet Cleaning. He's got this giant pineapple, and it just looks really cool. And people make fun of him sometimes because they think it's a swinger thing, but it's not. It's carpet clean. He just always thought it was cool. Anyways, we implemented all of these strategies right out of the gate. In year one, he makes $100,000 as a carpet cleaner his very first year. And I'm like telling people, I'm like, look, if a kid can jump into the industry in a place where there's already lots of carpet cleaners, everywhere there's carpet cleaners, he can jump in and make $100,000 year one. Your business is at risk if you're not going to try to implement this stuff, because some kid's going to come in with better that knows this. Some kid that grew up with these systems kind of just being natural to them. These younger kids can get on computers and do things right out of the gate, and it's like, if you're not willing to evolve or dissolve, I really like that. It's like, guys can jump in and move fast. So.
Well, and so what I'm gathering from this is, and everybody listening to this show, me and Ryan have talked about it, HVAC is getting ready to become very expensive. Okay, it's getting ready to be, a very large purchase for a homeowner. And the more money you spend as a homeowner, the more you want in return.
Yep, perceived value
but
goes through the roof.
It's still just heating and air, right?
Yep.
So this is, this is going to be a big one to help cradle them,
Give them that white glove. Just make them.
Yeah, they spend $25,000 and you put it in and you threw down a drop cloth so you didn't get shit on their rug, and then you just roll out. Like, you did a great job, but they're just like, yeah. I mean, where's the rest of the treatment? I mean, we just spent all this money and that's all we get is, just warm air and cold air. Like, homeowners are changing, man. They're just going to want all this. It's just where we're at.
Yep.
I think it's, I learned a lot from this for sure. And I think everybody else did.
Well, and the other thing, I've said it before, we don't want to bring people on the show that we don't think can truly help you bring value to your business. There's a million different people that are selling this snake oil or that or whatever else, saying that it can change your business. But if you listen to everything Ryan said that he's went through with us this evening, it's a game-changing opportunity for a extremely minimal expense, to be honest. What you guys can potentially change in the value of your own business. You look at pricing for Chiirp, go and look at it. I'm not going to go through it all in the show. That's the reason you're supposed to reach out to us, and we reach that back to you and get you to Ryan and the right people. But for no joke, a extremely minimal cost, you guys could make so much more added value in your business happen like that.
Yeah, we have guys sitting on gold mines that sign up because they go, I have 3,000 customers in my database that I have not communicated with in.
Oh, jeez.
So you what?
Yeah, I mean, you don't talk about shoulder season, like.
You're not fitting it on those shoulders.
We can put 100 people into a campaign and send out a voicemail to these 100 people. Like, we get guys, that's exactly what Dustin Miller did from day one. He'll say, I pay for Chiirp. I'll pay for the Chiirp, the investment in Chiirp in that first week of shoulder season, because I'll use that and fill up my whole calendar, and that's paid for Chiirp. It's right there, and so everything else is free basically at that point. But yeah, they're sitting on these customer databases, and they sign up, and like within minutes. I have a video. It's a carpet cleaner, but I have a guy. He's like, man, I had 3,000 people. You guys set me up. I sent out a text message to 100 of those 3,000 people, and I booked $5,000 worth of jobs in 5 or 10 minutes of sending out messages. And it's like, oh, you just paid for Chiirp right there. Now you have the whole year. So that's one simple way to get an immediate ROI. And if like you said, the price of Chiirp is really low, because we can do that, because it's automation, because it's being done, it's software. And so, you get like, one thing going, like, let's say you just set up your review campaign and that's all you used it for. You'd be cheaper than most of the review campaign platforms out there.
Yeah.
And then everything else. Yeah, and then everything else would be just, like free, the estimate rehash and all that stuff. So yeah, like the whole idea is ROI. Like if you're not getting an ROI, then it's not worth it. But it's easy to get an ROI with Chiirp.
Sweet. Well, hey man, I think we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to have you back on after we go through some contractors, because we're gonna have some guys jump on this for sure.
Yeah.
Reach out. Go ahead.
You going to AHR? I don't know if you.
I think so.
Y'all go to that?
I gotta look.
Okay.
Justin's. You guys talk with Justin, so everybody knows. Justin is our guy, like that's in charge of partnerships and reaching out to guys like you and all this stuff. But Justin's, and I only bring that up because I'm saying for anybody listening, if you want to reach out to Justin, like he'd be the guy that would connect you and get you set up with Chiirp or with a demo with Chiirp. So if you want to email him, Justin@chiirp.com, CHII. Don't forget 2 I's in Chiirp, CHIIRP.com.
And that autocorrect is wicked. You got to watch it.
You got to watch. That's the only thing. So watch it. Justin at Chiirp.com. You could go to our website, Chiirp.com, but if you reach out directly to Justin and let him know you heard us on this podcast, he can hook you up with some incentives to get going on Chiirp quick. But we can get you on in a week and have all these campaigns that we just talked about up and running in a week, and then you can do whatever you want. But
and you guys, you'll be able to find a link to all of our stuff with Chiirp through our link tree in the bios of all our social stuff.
Yeah, we've got go make sure if you're listening to this that you don't just go to Chiirp.com, that you go through HVAC R&D, because there's special incentives to sign up through that process.
Good deal.
But AHR, Justin's working on all that, so I bring that up because he's working on all that stuff this year. We are still a young company. We're new to this, space. It's been the last couple of years that we've really, taken off in this space. But I'm still learning like where all the places to go this year.
The shows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like AHR has like a whole software section, where all the CRMs will be over there,
and everybody else will be. It's in it's in the same spot as the podcast pavilion, but in the other exhibit hall. So they're laid out pretty similar. So same section, just different hall.
Yeah. We're working with a ton of like agencies. I want to shout out some of the agencies we work with. We work with Relentless, Lemon Seed, BXB.
I think we were Home Advisor. That's what I couldn't remember. In Atlanta, we picked up Home Advisor, which I guess is like an Angie's List type.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still Home Advisor or
it's all Angie now. It's all Angie.
Okay. Oh, Angie.
Man,
so I did text Matt back with at Sweetwater, and he sent me back and said, "Sorry, Matt's not available currently." So, and it came back immediately.
That's an automated response. He's out of the office right now, man. He's probably trying to enjoy the Christmas.
Is his name really Matt? That's just what I want to know. Like, is that really Brian on the other side there? You said you only had 3 employees.
Yeah,
and I don't know a Brian.
What? So what you do? That brings up a good point.
Yep.
People can over automate. You don't want to completely automate the human out of this process, because people will pick up on it quickly. You want to start conversations, but you want humans to finish the conversations. So.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Right. I could see some guys. I know some guys that would butcher this.
I did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I did.
Yeah, you texted me like 5 times last week too. Yeah, I know. Sorry.
I know.
Still need that filter change though, so I'll be out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure to get with the office. We'll get you on the schedule.
Yep.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
You got me wanting some cookies and some Kool-Aid jammers now. So
for sure, dude. I wouldn't recommend the Capri Sun Tropical Tide. I'm feeling the sugar rush right now. So.
Oh yeah, that's just that's straight sugar water right there.
It does say at the bottom. They do try to hide it. It says flavored water beverage. Nice. That's the politically correct way of saying sugar water, right?
I guess so.
Just gonna pour mine on some vodka and be done with it.
There you go.
There we go.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, hit us up, and maybe we'll see you at AHR, or at least Justin. And
yes, this has been great. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll hook you up on the. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll hook you up on the walkout music there. We got you.
Sweet.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I have to say that was informative. I feel like
very informative. Yeah, I feel like I want to go sell some shit.
Ash's line. She's got to save that. Got to save that for AHR. But yeah, I definitely feel like I could be a better sales guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the system's doing what some really successful sales guys already do. But I always bring up Dave, poor Dave. You know, we had Dave at our company that couldn't sell his way out of a bag, but he was a great technician, super nice to the customer, like wasn't rude. He could not, like, even when it was old and needed to be replaced, he just couldn't close it, right? He just couldn't close the deal because he just was uncomfortable. So, but the reaching back out, man, God, that's so big nowadays.
I'll be honest, the biggest way
huge.
that I built most of the business I had was because I tried to be really good at following up. And I still wasn't great at it, but I was better than most other people. Yep.
Right, that's what he said.
I was doing enough.
This thing.
Still do enough to be better than most. And that's what helps with that. Because we do, as salespeople, you get, especially the last 3 years, I'm so tired of giving people bad news. It's like there's days I'm like, I just don't want to talk to anybody because I have nothing good to tell them. And that depresses me as a salesperson. Because I'm the answers guy. You've known me long enough. I love when a contractor calls me. I have no better feeling that when I have the answer and I helped him and made his day better. That's why I wanted to do this.
Right.
I know that's why you want to train, is you want to just make their day better and help them out and, you know, feel that satisfaction that you help somebody. And it's just...
Yeah, so reach out to us for sure. If you just want to talk to one of those guys,
absolutely.
Just talk about it. Maybe you got a million questions. I mean, he broke it down, but if you got questions, reach out to us.
And that's a lot. I mean, he broke it down, but it's also that's a lot to break down and process, too, especially. So, if you got questions, you want to know more info, just let us know. Go through Linktree, hit the link, and honestly, reach out to me too. I got no problem. Just hit us up, hvacrnd@gmail. I'm more than happy to talk to you or get you to those guys if you want me to help be the in-between. I'm cool with that too. No worries. Sales guy here will help.
Yeah, I'm scared to tell you to reach out to me on Instagram.
We might not be.
We may not be there tomorrow. So reach out to us on the old
Pretty
Gmail.
Sure Google's going to be
pretty
here
solid.
Tomorrow. That's true.
Be
That's
careful
true.
with that.
I'm feeling lucky. But
all right. So AHR stuff.
So,
you got some new
I know
stuff?
we talked about it before, but we are doing the high school tech kids tours now on Wednesday. So Wednesday 10 to 11 we'll be giving a high school tour. So also Wednesday at 10 is Ben and all of the guys at their, well, guys and gals, pardon me ladies, I apologize. But a lot of our friends are going to be at the social media panel from 10 to 11. We might have to send Trade Wifey and HVAC Wifey over there to get some footage while we're giving the kids a tour to make sure everyone sees everything that's going on. But we also booked another booth visit. It's with a company that I believe a lot of our listeners either use or follow or talk about. So we're going to be at the Rapid Locking Systems, or RLS, booth Monday from 11 to 11:30. Hopefully Dennis is going to get to play with some cool tools and we make some video content with that. I know he's always excited when he gets to mess with something new.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So, we'll be at RLS on Monday now. Rector Seal on Tuesday. We've announced that already. We've got some other friends that are going to be with Rector Seal too. I know HVAC Strong and PE HVAC are going to be at Rector Seal a couple different times.
PEHVAC.
Right. Oh, I do too, man.
I love when he comes on there.
Super nice guy.
I love his
He and I have
Instagram.
talked. We haven't as much lately, but on the old Instagram account, we talked a bit more frequently. Now he's got to come find me. But no, super nice guy. We've talked a couple different times about price structures and different things. I'm definitely pumped to meet him. And then hopefully maybe we can trade flat bills, because he does have a pretty sweet flat bill. Yeah, he can.
Yeah, he can pull the flat bill off though.
I can do it backwards.
I just can't do it.
I can do it backwards. It doesn't work.
I can't do it. Yep. I can't do it backwards either because I don't have any hair. It's like it's just like it's on a basketball backwards. Ooh.
Hey now.
You got your suit ready
jacket.
for tactical?
Bought my jacket.
Okay.
Kristen bought what I believe is going to be her dress. I've got to go back and get my pants and my shirt, and I'm still going to get a bow tie just to round it out to have the full suit.
Okay. Right.
I know.
You can't wear that because I got you a present.
We're saving that for the content. Saving that for content.
Got you something for Christmas.
Real nice.
Got you something real nice. real nice, Clark.
God.
Yep. Sorry,
no, it's okay. My train of thought's usually jacked up anyway.
I'm excited about this high school. Tech class tours. So they're in HVAC. They're currently enrolled in a. That's one of their classes during the day.
Is a trades program in high school is what it looks to. I don't know what school they're from yet or anything like that. I was gonna ask after I saw Tool Pro and Tool Wife stuff today come out. Miracle Mechanical, as a lot of people know them. Also, they're part of the podcast affiliate with us as well. We saw their stuff come out today about donating some equipment with Ream and Diversitech and some other partners, as well as AHR. At I think it's ACCA. I was going to ask, what was the community college the college program you went through in Atlanta? I didn't know if it was the same place you went or not. Okay.
Lincoln Tech. So Lincoln Tech started up north, I think, with diesel mechanic, and then started to just grow with different trades. So it was an 18-month 18-month program. Or you could do a 2-year associate style, but I just did the 18-month full-on, hands-on, and roll. But
gotcha.
No core classes for me.
Well, and I didn't realize those guys were from Georgia. A lot of times we watch these people on Instagram, but we don't always know where they are until either you catch it in a clip or they tell you, just randomly and you catch it. Because not everybody's listing it on their bios and everything, which is understandable. And which also, not to bring up the Instagram saga again, but we had another fellow member of the community lose all of his stuff this past week. We also, due to some crazy things that are going on, we pulled an episode down, but our buddy Robert, the air surgeon, lost all of his stuff this week too. Same kind of way we did, just out of nowhere, no rhyme or reason. Doesn't even make any sense. And I know, for him, he's, a lot of his content was all there, especially all the Jumper King stuff, all that. So, Robert, we're here for you, buddy. You need us, you reach back out. Sorry it happened. It's just the way I know a lot of people are sorry it happened to us, but hey, we're here to help rebuild you whenever you're ready, my friend.
Yep. Did you ever get anything on our athlete?
I actually was on the phone with I was on the phone with her guess what? I know we're the managers, so I guess we could say we were on the phone with her representative today. But he did not inform me of very much. Of course, I don't think anybody's having a fishing tournament this weekend because it's supposed to be in the teens. So, whew.
Yeah, this weather's getting ready to get crazy. Nuts. So we will report back on Rippin' Lips Ricky Lee on her tournaments. Of course, the spring rolls around, it's going to be heavy. we'll have a little segment for her every week. See where she's at, how she's doing.
We'll be able to maybe get out to an event and give her a little bit of support at some point.
So, to round out the show,
oh,
I do have a voicemail.
Crawl Space Confession.
And, no.
Matt from Sweetwater.
So it is. You gotta hear this thing. You gotta hear it. I mean, this is what it's all about right here. All right, here we go. Now this is. I've already purchased $20 worth of drumsticks. This was a week later, I think. So, I don't know what he made off those drumsticks, but he did. He didn't make.
Every little bit counts.
That, so.
Hey, Dennis. It's Matt calling over from Sweetwater Sound. I just want to give you a real quick call here. I know it's been a couple weeks. Just want to make sure that last order made it over to you okay. That was working out well for you so far. And yeah, really was just checking in. If you do get a chance, give me a call. I'd love to hear everything worked out for you. Number is 800.
Yeah, I just was checking in.
To say actually, sounds like Pete.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. I get that call. I'm like, there he is. You answer it, and they don't know what to say. They're like,
That's what you should do next time. If you're anywhere where you could record it, put that sucker on speaker. What's up, Matt?
Oh, what's up, Matt? Yeah. Yeah, man, these drumsticks are fantastic. But appreciate it. I'll be sure I'm gonna grab some more from you next year.
When I run out. My bulk pack is expired.
Yeah.
It's time to change that filter.
A bulk pack, yeah.
Drumsticks.
God, Corey shreds through drumsticks. He rim shots, and behind his drums, it looks like a straight wood shop, man. Jeez. So yeah, we got some new things coming down the pipeline with old C-Dub.
I was gonna say, how's that going?
We're gonna. Well, he's got to get that creative mind flowing. So yeah, we got a
lot of cool new content is gonna be coming out first of the year. Yeah, we got some family stuff to do the next couple of weeks with the holidays, but going into New Year's.
So yeah, you're listening to this. It's Friday, so.
Absolutely.
Have a Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, so yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Kiss his ass, kiss your ass. Kiss his...
I'm gonna give you to the count of 10.
Oh man,
that's what
you know what? I think I started too. I think I started too early on the Christmas. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to wrap it up. I hate to say that, dude. I started so early this year. I've been listening to Christmas music for about 25 days already. And I'm ready to wrap it up.
I truly have struggled to get in the old Christmas spirit this year.
I've had years where it just doesn't happen.
It's been frustrating back half.
I mean, the 2 days after Thanksgiving, it looked like Christmas threw up in my house. I went to New York this year during Christmas, during December. I mean, it's just been full bore. And I think it was a little early for a lot of it. I'm ready to wrap it up.
Come on.
Let's get it going. Yeah, come on.
Jeez.
All right. Hopefully we'll see y'all next week.
See you on the gram in one way or another, or one account or another. Who knows? Thanks for listening, everybody.
Right.
Have a good one. Merry Christmas.